Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. It has once again been a bit of a minute. I'm trying to get better at posting consistently, but we're trying our best, okay? I don't know if I should create a schedule and try to stick to it as best as my abilities, or just shoot for once a week. I'm still not sure yet, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out real soon. Today I thought that we could choose our TBR. It's the 1st of June, it's Pride Month, so the books I am going to pick, I am going to prioritize my LGBTQ plus books that I do have on my shelf or that I have already checked out from the library. But I have already made a will. I've made a will. I'm going to spin the wheel this time instead of choosing from a TBR jar. My last video, I chose from a TBR jar and I didn't really like it. So today I've chosen to put some prompts. I already selected my prompts and put them on the wheel. I'll put them on the screen. I've tried to pick some prompts that I could choose a wide range of books from and then narrow it down. So I've gone ahead and put them on the wheel. I'll put the wheel on the screen so that you all can follow along with me as I make my choices. So without further ado, let's go ahead and pick our TBR for the month of June. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick 5 books. I think 5 books is a good amount that I could stick to and read, a dedicated amount that I could stick to and read for June. I'm going to spin the wheel and see what we pick for our first book. Animal on the cover. I know exactly what I'm going to pick. To no surprise to anyone, not even me, both of the books have a wolf on the cover. Are we surprised? No. Do we care? No. But the animal on the cover of both books is a wolf. The first one that I picked is Raven's Song by TJ Klune. It's the second book in the Green Creek series. I've already read book 1, which is Wolf Song, and I thought it was okay. I have been putting off continuing with the series simply because I thought book 1 was okay, and I really wasn't as invested in it, but each book does follow a different character that was featured in book 1. And I feel like the rest of the series and the rest of the books, those stories will be a bit more interesting to me than the first one was. The first one wasn't bad by any means, but I was a bit invested more in the side characters than I was in book 1. I'll give the synopsis for book 1 so that no spoilers are featured for book 2. Book 1 follows Ox and Joe. Ox is human and Joe's family moved into the town that I want to say Green Creek when Ox was still young and what Joe's was also still young. There's a large age gap between the two, and something happens in the book where Joe's family has to leave and then come back. But between them leaving and coming back, so much happens within the town of Green Creek with Ox. Ox had, up to that point, built a strong relationship not only with Joe, but within the whole pack of Joe's family, that it kind of changed the trajectory of Ox's whole life and the whole story. So that's kind of a quick synopsis of what that book was about. Book 2 is going to follow the town witch in that series and one of the werewolves that was part of the Green Creek pack before. It is a second chance romance. I was excited for it, but I had put it off for so long that I kind of need to go back and reread book 1 or read a synopsis of book 1 to refresh my memory before going into book 2 again. I was originally just going to go ahead and go with Raven's Song, and because I've been putting it off for so long, but when I was looking, I forgot that I had this one, which is The Wolf and His King by Finn Longman. I picked this up when this one first came out, and I've totally put it off and put it on my TBR card over there. It follows a wolf who is it follows a king who is secretly a wolf. No. It follows someone who is secretly a wolf. It follows a knight who is secretly a wolf and who is servicing his king. And I think the king doesn't know that he's a wolf. And it's supposed to be inspired by I'm going to butcher this. Bisclarevet? The story of Bisclarevet, the wolf? Bisclaret. It's supposed to be inspired by that tale, and it's set for fans of Madeline Miller, Uprooted by Naomi Novik, and Sword Cross by Freya Marsk. Sword Cross by Freya Marsk I did softly enough because I just was not in the mood for it, and I think it was more fantasy and world building than it was romance at the time. However, I have wanted to read a Naomi Novik novel, but it wasn't Uprooted. I think I have Spinning Silver from the library checked out, and I've had that checked out for a while, so I have wanted to read a Naomi Novik novel. I think for this prompt, I am going to pick The Wolf and His King simply because I'm more intrigued by this story than continuing the Green Creek series. I think when I continue the Green Creek series, I'm going to want to continue the rest of the series because this is only the second book and there's 2 more books after that because I think right now is 4 books in the series. So I think when I pick up Raven's Song, I'll want to continue the whole series at one time. So for Animal on the cover, we are going to pick The Wolf and His King by Finn Longman. We're going to spin again for prompt 2. we have a green cover. I also think I already know what I want to pick for this book too. So for this one, I also have two choices that I could pick from. One of them is a library checkout, and it is All of Us Murders by KJ Charles. Now, I have read one book already by KJ Charles. I read The Magpie Lord, which is like the start of the Magpie series, and it's highly rated like all the time. I didn't like it. I personally did not like that book very much. Like, it wasn't a bad book, but I don't know. It wasn't for me. So since then, I've been wary about reading more of KJ Charles' work, but I thought I'd give it a try because this one was recently released. To give a bit of a background, it says, All of Us Murderers by KJ Charles is a queer gothic mystery and romance novel set in a remote, eerie mansion where a family gathers for a deadly inheritance game, blending Knives Out style intrigue with supernatural elements and a second chance romance between the protagonist Zeb and his ex Gideon. Published in late 2025, it features a cast of morally great characters, a locked room mystery, and a protagonist with ADHD, all wrapped in a stylish, witty, and steamy historical setting. Two things I like are historical setting and like thrillers, right? Love those. Not crazy about second chance romance, but I do like it when it's done great, right? The last book that I read by KJ Charles was also a thriller set in a historical setting, right? And I didn't like it. So I'm wary about going into this one simply because I don't know if I like it, but I did check it out from my library. So, no love lost. If I don't like it, I could just DNF and take it back to the library. And I have been wanting to give it another try. Like, I have been wanting to give KJ Charles another try. So this one is it's an option. However, I went to Goodreads the other day and I found this book, which I had been looking at in Barnes & Noble for so long. It's Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. This one is described as a feminist sapphic retelling of the classic vampire novella Carmilla, set during the Industrial Revolution, focusing on a repressed wife, Lenore, who awakens to her desires after a mysterious woman named Carmilla enters her life, leading to a dark unraveling amidst a hunting party and a series of mysterious illnesses amongst local girls. The novel explores themes of feminine rage, desire, appetite, reimagining the original story with a focus on female perspective and the horrors of womanhood. I'm really excited for this one, right? I think I've seen mostly positive reviews, but I don't need much for a sapphic vampire romance to get my intrigue, right? So I don't know which one I'll pick. I think for the sake of this TBR, I would pick Hungerstone simply because last month or the month before, I think in March, I read another sapphic romance. I think The Book of Blood and Romance. It was also a sapphic vampire romance that I was like, and it was okay, but I've kind of been wanting to scratch that itch again and read another sapphic vampire romance. And so we're going to pick Hungerstone. We're going to pick Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. All of Us Murders by KJ Charles. I might get to it anyway because I'm just curious, So, but for our TBR, we're going to pick Hungerstone by Kat Dunn. Okay, so continue your series. I am in the middle of so many series right now, it's not even funny. And I haven't even updated my Notion to include all the other series that I've been starting since like the last time I've updated it, right? So how are we gonna do this? I could pick a book that I'm waiting on a new release of that could be coming out this month. I'm gonna check my Notion. I have all of my books like on a Notion that I've set up, and I have like a database and like a board with all the series to keep track of whether I've read it on Kindle from the library or if it's a book from my physical library. So I'm gonna check my library. I have my computer over here. I'm gonna check my library and see what series that I'm in the middle of that I could continue with the ones that I've already updated, right? Oh, you know what? Y'all, we could do it to ourselves. We could do it to ourselves because I've already got the library checked out. I've already have the book checked out on Libby, and we could do it to ourselves. We're going to read the second book in the Game of Thrones. We're going to read the second book in the Game of Thrones. And I have it right here, too. What's this book called? A Clash of Kings. We're going to do it to ourselves, y'all. George R.R. Martin, count your days after I read the first Game of Thrones. It's okay though, because we're going to stick this out. We're going to continue. We're going to get to the end because I want to read all of the Game of Thrones series before I pick up the Seven Kingdoms, the one with Egg, the kid Egg. I want to read that, but I don't want to read it before I finish all of Game of Thrones, right? So we're going to pick up A Clash of Kings. I already have the ebook checked out on Libby. It's ready to go. We're going to do it to ourselves. We're going to see if we can do this, okay?
Hey, I doubt it.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and spin for book 4. A book not set in the US or the UK. Ooh. So I actually don't think I have any books that aren't set either in the US or the UK that aren't like pure fantasy. And if I do, I don't see them. Like most of them are set in the US for some reason, or in like some fantasy world. And I don't want to pick a fantasy world. Well, not a completely fantasy world that's like outrageous and we don't know where it's at, right? I feel like I could pick the second book in the Crazy Rich Asian series, which is China Rich Girlfriend, but I'm not really sure. I know the first book, part of it takes place in the US and then part of it takes place in Singapore, but I don't know for sure about the second book yet. And then based off how it ended, I have no idea if they're going to go back to the US or if they're going to stay in Singapore. So, but I might actually still read China Rich Girlfriend, maybe not soon, but I liked how the first book ended and I am invested in the character that it ended off of. If you haven't read Crazy Rich Asians, there's a movie about it and everything that came out years ago, but I read the first book, I want to say either this year or last year, and I actually really enjoyed it. And so I've been putting off on starting a second book. However, I think I'm going to choose this one. It's called Son of the Storm by Suyi Davis Okunboywa. I apologize to you. Suyi Davis Okunbowa. I apologize to you if I butchered that name. This, I want to say, is an LGBT epic fantasy that I acquired it like last year or something. I bought it last year because I was looking for more queer epic fantasy series, right? And this one says, in the city of Bassa, Donzo is a clever scholar on the cusp of achieving greatness, only he doesn't want it. Instead, he prefers to chase forbidden stories about what lies outside the city walls. The Bassai elite claim there is nothing of interest. The city's immigrants are sworn to secrecy. But when Donzo stumbles across a warrior wielding magic that shouldn't exist, he's put on a collision course with Bassa's darkest secrets. Drawn into the city's hidden history, he sets out on a journey beyond its borders, and the chaos left in the wake of his discoveries threatens to destroy the empire. The can't miss epic fantasy of the year from a bold new voice. I don't know what year this came out, but I have both books 1 and 2. I think I'm going to choose this one because this one is inspired by pre-colonial West Africa, and I think I'm going to choose this one. I believe this is the last book. I said 5, didn't I? I thought I said 6. I'm sitting here thinking I chose 6 books, but I said 5, didn't I? We're going to stick with 5. I'm not going to choose 6 because I know myself. I'm not even going to set myself up for failure like that. Pink cover. Ironically, I think I only have 1 book with a pink cover. I actually have 2 books with a pink cover. I have Fangirl over there by Rainbow Rowell, but I'm not going to pick that one. I'm going to choose this one because I've been meaning to read this one simply because it's called Want, and it's by Gillian Anderson. I believe Gillian Anderson is the one who collected all the works, but each work was submitted anonymously by different people. Each story is different. Each story is by like a different person, but all of the works basically are about like feminism, discovering like women's sexuality, womanhood, and like things of that nature. And so that's why I've been wanting to pick it up. I've been kind of trying to read more nonfictions, and I've been trying to diversify what kind of nonfictions I read. I don't want to just read a bunch of memoirs. I think I'm going to go ahead and pick up this one because I've been meaning to get to it anyway, and I am curious to see like what are other women's thoughts on basically being a woman, how to discover your femininity, your sexuality, your sensuality, and all of that stuff. And so that's what we're going to pick for our 5th book. I kind of can't believe that all the books are like actual physical books that I have, and I didn't pick any Kindle reads. I'm actually not mad at this though. I'm actually not mad at this stack. This is probably a pretty good stack. We have The Wolf and His King, Hungerstone. We have the second book in the Game of Thrones series, A Clash of Kings. And then we have Son of the Storm and Want by Gillian Anderson. So I'm not mad at this stack at all. I feel like it's a very diverse set of books, and it still kind of holds true for our Pride Month. We've got 3 queer books. Granted, I know myself. This is not all the queer literature that I'm gonna read this month. Okay, it's gonna be so much more. Okay, so much more. I know who I am. I've accepted it, and I've moved on. That wraps up our June TBR picks. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.